Hey, look, I'm actually back. I'm not dropping this. I'm tenacious or stubborn. I just gotta see this through. See how much is done. And, I mean, I kinda want to keep commenting on it because, again, it's a project that can't... Do I still have to do this? I have to do the cutscene again. Alright, I'll just mash through that. But, yeah. I want to see this improve. And, like, as harsh as I may be, I do want my commentary to provide, I don't know, something for the dev and anyone else seeing this who wants to try their hand at making a game. I promise you, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm a little rough with my constructive criticism. But, point one, I got a new form here, Buster form. Why? Where did that come from? So, point A, upon returning to this, things need to be more organic. Okay. Or diegetic. That's a word I should use more often. That's a good word. Diegetic specifically meaning, like, taking place within the story, the setting, all of that. So, again, why did I get a new form? Where in the story tells me I get a new form? Like, how does that work? Do I just do it? Did I always have it and I decided not to use it until just now? Like, it's one thing if this game were just, you know, random battle arenas where I'm in a box fighting everything that's around. But, like, that you as the dev elected to write, and I use that term very lightly, a story, which means it is now your responsibility to merge the gameplay and story to make it make sense. So if you're gonna give me new powers and then not tell me how that works within the realm of the story, you're not really doing your due diligence with what you've chosen to do. So, like, you're gonna need to do more if you want to do more, if that makes sense, right? By choosing to do more, you are giving yourself more work to do. And you just need to be aware of that. Now, another point, these encounters. I think, seeing new enemies, it's a little hard to tell. Oh yeah, I guess those guys just do blades? I'm not sure if on death or just periodically. But, I guess just periodic. Yeah, when they do their attack. But, like, I'm only noticing there's new enemies because I'm doing what I can to pay attention. The problem is, and I know I just went about going, like, with making the game have diegetic moments. It may not be natural for enemies to come out and introduce themselves, but it would be friggin' damn useful if the enemies would do that, so I knew there's new enemies and how to handle them. Right? Like, how do I deal with these new guys? They showed up, and suddenly there's new things to deal with. Like, here, case in point. These clone guys, these ghost guys doing all the body blocking and stuff, which, by the way, is super annoying. That's quite an inspired choice, and I can see why no one has ever done it before. But, like, again, only noticing that they're in the arena body blocking me, and where did my health go? I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, like, I don't know if the enemies are placed deliberately. Because, judging by everything, the enemies are sort of just here, and you sort of just expect players to deal with them. And it's like, okay, but could I learn the enemies you've assumedly designed? Like, it's a cardinal sin of action games, especially stylish action games, to simply make your players figure out what's going on, which I still have trouble doing frequently in the 2 hours I've played this game. So, hang on, I have notes that I'm trying to look at, which, ironically, I was gonna comment on that in a bit, but I may have to redact that part of the notes here. Right, I actually skipped ahead. But yeah, so enemies don't make their presence known. And, like, all these new lizard guys, I guess what they do is their attack is they do the omnidirectional blades that are all interruptible by heavy attacks. But, like, I got to a new area and I didn't know they'd be here. I didn't know there's new enemies. My shield is also gone, so these guys also do stupid amounts of damage. What is it? D-pad up and RB? There's also the fact that I don't know what this does, because he just threw it at me and said, yeah, there we go. I have no idea what that does. That's amazing. You've conveyed zero information to me, which... information is critical. But onto enemies. This one especially is a cluster. Are enemies chosen deliberately to be, like, in these battle zones? Or did you just pick random guys that you made and you're like, yeah, that's a battle zone. Just fight all these dudes. It doesn't actually matter who's in here. Because it feels like that, and that's also not amazing. Like, to look at Devil May Cry, one of the greatest things about it is on different difficulties, enemy formations will change. So, like, there'll be more of some enemy type, or later enemies will show up earlier on harder difficulties, because, you know, designing an encounter is also a task of the designer. If you just haphazardly throw things everywhere, well then, you're gonna get a haphazard game like this. I'm assuming that random selection is in play here, because, especially that previous boss, that suddenly vomited like 40 other enemies onto the screen in the middle. I still don't know what's going on. How far back am I being kicked? I can't even tell. Everything looks the same. But yeah, just vomiting 40 enemies on the screen and going, yeah, that's a boss fight. Again, that's another cardinal sin of action games, let alone stylish action games. So it just really, it makes me wonder. Because I feel like this game is a passion project for sure. But it's a very short-sighted passion. Because it doesn't seem to take into consideration all the things it should. Which is a critical error. Yeah. And now, the last thing, with me dying continuously here, I'm like almost 85% on autopilot here. I am not thinking about what I'm doing, because I really can't? If that makes sense? Like, again, I've said you should introduce your new enemies, but on the other hand, does it really change that much, having these new enemies? Do they do that much? I guess kind of. It'd be nice to be more aware of them than how it is now. But for the most part, no, they don't really add too much. And so, because of that, I'm actually able to just mostly ramble on here. Again, I have to refer to my notes because I just struggle to think sometimes. But it's easier for me to ramble in this than it is other games because I don't need to think that much. Which is not something you want in your game. You want your players to be engaging. But this game doesn't really lend itself to engaging because I don't know what's going on half the time. Like, look at this. I'm flooded with hit stun because I'm breaking frequent attacks. Which, by the way, I see what you're trying to do with the interruptible attacks, the dodge attacks, the counter attacks. But, like, they don't work very well together with each other. And I can see that's an attempt to make gameplay engaging. But again, because it doesn't work, well, gameplay is not engaging. I'm just mashing. And making the player go on autopilot because processing this is impossible. Impossible, a bit strong. But, like, it's not great. It's not a good sign if I can autopilot through most of this and ramble on about all these things while referring to my notes on the side. So, like, it's just so chaotic, and again, I've complained that it doesn't feel like I'm in control most of the time, because I'm not. I've died those couple times because there's no weight. There's no impact. I know it seems like there's impact when I do the breaks and do the heavies with hit stop and all that, but, like, I'm getting hit by things, and there's no indicator. There's no sound. There's no feedback. I don't know what's happening most of the time. Like, I'm taking damage, but I don't know I'm taking damage aside from the small knockback. And even then, it doesn't feel like I'm taking damage because that's not being properly conveyed by the game. Which, again, lends to going brain off mode, because if the game isn't giving me information, then I'm not processing information. And if I'm not processing information, I'm button mashing to get to the next part. Which I still am, by the way. And I still don't know what this does. Second gear. Cool, but what does that do? My sword is just bigger? Is that it? Does that actually increase range? Because, okay, it's over. It was like 2 seconds. These transformations are also worthless because they don't last that long and don't have an impact. Like, I don't know what they do. There is an absolute dearth of information. Also in a word I don't get to use too often. Where am I going? Hello? Why are the arrows pointing this way? Huh? Why would you not point... Oh, that's why. Oh, I thought I couldn't go up here because there was an invisible wall, but no, it's just the stairs stupid thing again. But yeah, like, it's one of those things that you have to keep in consideration. The chaos is too much. And, like, I feel like I understand what the dev's going for. I'm simultaneously talking to the dev and everyone else, I guess. Like, I can see a vision. Right? There's some neat animations in here. Being flashy and cool is great. But the game wasn't given enough consideration as a game. Right? And I think, what was it, Omega Mecha Animations is the main dev? I can see they're proud of their animations. These are pretty cool. The problem is, you need more than just the animations. Right? You need the hit frames, you need the impact, you need the weight, you need the sound. I'm dying. The fact that there's no sound when I take hits, there's no sound when enemies make attacks. Right? I don't know what attacks are coming. To, again, go to the more recent indie game I played, Homura Hime. When enemies attack, they always do, even though it's a bit weird with the timing, they always do an audio indicator that they're attacking. Which is great, because at least you know something is coming. You don't know when exactly, because you have to see it to parry it, for the most part. But you know an attack is coming. This entire arena is inundated with flashing lights and just all flare with no substance. And it's like, that's not enough for a game. That's not even really enough for a video, to be honest. Right? You make an animation, you do a video, you gotta have sounds. Sounds are super important. And, like, it feels weird that you focused on, I don't know, I guess, not even like the same thing, but having sparing voice acting and not having just enemy hit sounds or player hit sounds. Like, yeah, my sword makes hit sounds, and, like, there's the revving of the motorcycle, but I get hit and I don't hear anything. Enemies do attacks, I don't hear anything. There's so much going on, and I don't know what it is. And I know I'm repeating myself with that fact, but it's just the thing that's consistent, is I don't know. Like, seeing everything on screen, there's a lot to interact with, right? There's attacks everywhere, you gotta dodge, parry, block, whatever. But at the same time, there's not enough to interact with. I didn't know what attack that... I died. I died again, because I guess the enemy was doing an attack and I dashed right into it. Did I know he was doing an attack? No. But I guess everyone is always doing an attack, but that's not really enough either. So it's so bizarre that, again, there's so much happening and not enough going on to actually let me know what is happening. I guess I'm out of stuff to say at the moment. But yeah, I'm also sort of just morbidly curious at what else was put into this game without finishing the most basic of core things. Sound design, not even hit detection, impact. I'm not really thinking of the right word, I feel like. But, I mean, again, I thrive on sound design. Like, I rely on it so much in everything, and when it's missing, it is so noticeable when you're playing. So that's one of my biggest things. And again, there's the weird control showing up on screen every time for no reason. Like, it's not even like... It's not even like this is basic game design thing. It's just like, have you looked at it? Does this look right? Does this feel right? Because it doesn't feel like any critical eye was looked at this before it hit release. Because those are really easy things to just be like, yeah, no, actually that looks really bad. Let's not leave that there. If this were an early access, I would understand. But I really have to wonder why it was deemed greenlit for release in any way. Because this... Again, I've played early access games, I've played demos, I've played betas, and they're typically in much more presentable condition. I guess the thing I really, really want to ask for, and here's me talking out from things I know, like, fifth hand, not even first hand or second hand, but, what is a vertical slice for this? Because a vertical slice would do so much for understanding what we're looking for. If you don't know, a vertical slice is basically a gameplay segment that shows you everything that you're expecting to see in the game. Now, typically, it's, you know, parts you'll see in trailers. It's the most developed parts where it's like, oh, I see where, it's like a demo would be a vertical slice, typically, where it's like, all right, here's most of the base mechanics you'll be working with, like, what's expected. Maybe you'll have a couple cutscenes to show that off as well. But it's supposed to be, all right, what are we looking at? What are we dealing with? And what is the baseline expectation for everything? It's also really funny when you can tell where a vertical slice is in a main game, because like, oh, here's clearly the expectations for the entire game. For example, Cyberpunk 2077. The vertical slice for that game is very clearly the All Foods mission in the first chapter with Jackie, right? You go in, you have some conversation, you have some dialogue, you make different choices, and you get different outcomes. Do you ally with Maelstrom? Do you ally with Militech? Do you manage to pay for the thing with your own money and avoid all conflict? Or I guess that's still siding with Maelstrom in that case. Well, no, not necessarily. Not if you don't talk to Maelstrom. Because you can, in fact, do that mission without any conflict. So it's like, okay, so those are all your options. It's a game that has choices, so you have a whole bunch of choices that you can do. And if you do combat, there's varied combat sections, right? There's net runners, there's a mech boss at the end, there's strong enemies throughout, or if you went with the Militech route, you fight a dual mech boss that's different than the brick mech boss. Like, it's a mission that has a little bit of everything that really tells you this is how the game is going to be. It's kind of unfortunate that the rest of the game just never reached that level of depth again. So it is one of the deepest games and deepest missions in the game, and then also has repercussions in later missions down the line, which no other quests really do. So, but still, as a mission, All Foods tells you what to expect from the game. Here's all the things you can do in this one section. I need to know what a vertical slice for this game is, because what's expected here? And why are the projectiles still out there in, like, the combat zone after I've respawned? Why did it not clear and reset the level? And, like, again, a vertical slice is typically one of the, I feel like, typically, again, I don't actually know, but I believe a vertical slice is one of the first things completed to show investors this is what you expect from the game. This is the baseline for everything, and if nothing, like, you should find each of these things everywhere. So in the case of this game, like, what's expected? Well, the transformations. Well, those don't really work because they last a whole 3 seconds, and I don't know what they do. The enemies? Is the vertical slice the whole game? Is it just this all the way through? Because this would not be a good showing, because it's really hard to understand what's going on. So, like, again, a vertical slice would be like, let's get all our ducks in an order. What do we expect from this game? How is it going to look? How is it going to play in microcosm? Because then when we know that, we can expand from there and start working on everything else. The problem is, this ended up, the way this ends up looking is everything's a concept, and execution is secondary. We're going to an Underdome. Are we going to go to a tournament arc?
No time to swerve.
Like, I would assume the first level, which I think was a demo at one point. I don't know if it's a demo anymore. I don't remember. The first level was the demo, but that's also not a very good vertical slice, because look at all the things that have been added in later levels with movement, different attacks, the way the bosses work. And it's like you put out the earliest first draft and said that was good enough, when it's really, really not. Yeah. I think the biggest thing is that this whole game feels like a first draft. Which, if it is, it's very obvious, and it's very sad that it's obvious. It should not be.
You won't dodge this. You won't dodge this.
You won't dodge this. So yeah, again, the metaphor I put earlier, this game isn't finished cooking. It's not even fully spiced up. The ingredients aren't all there just yet. If anything, like, I mean, it's already out. There's nothing else to do about it. This game would need an entire overhaul. Because while you can patch in better sound design, enemy design, enemy introduction, all of that, that's not stuff you can just patch. right? That has to be built with intent. And I'm not feeling the real intent here with any of that. Ow. There's also a weird thing that I've been noticing is that when I do the launcher, enemies sometimes react, but for the most part, they just, you know, float. Look, he's doing his attack in midair. There's no juggling in here. Enemies sometimes show hit stun, but most of the time they'll ignore it because their animations take priority, unless you interrupt them with a big interrupt move. But that's more the interrupt animation getting ticked off and being like, okay, you did the interrupt, congratulations, here's your stagger. Like, okay, that enemy was staggering, but then when I do a launcher and then they're just recovering in the air and starting their own attack, that should never happen. Also, why does my dash, I guess, not have iframes? I've already mentioned this. The dash is far too uncontrollable to be like, yeah, I can use this as proper movement tech. Oh, another boss. Is this a lizard guy with a chainsaw scythe? Why is the voice balance so, or the sound balance so off? Oh, I didn't check the settings again. They're probably reset. How do you input this voice in the game and then not realize it's far too low for anyone to hear? Like, again, it's one of those things I have to question. It's like, did you actually look at the game before you released it? Or, like, what happened here? Because that's one of those things that's immediately noticeable. That's not even like, oh, the beta tester didn't catch that or something. It's just like, where... Did you look at it? Did you just spawn more enemies? Or is that an attack? Because it should be painfully obvious that those things just don't work. Right? The sound isn't sounding. Not the phrasing I want to use. Just like, if you can't hear the voice, then how did you not catch that? And then again, it goes into questioning. It's like, if you don't catch that, what else are you not catching? Right? Is your code not up to par? Because are there typos in the code because I've seen how you spell things? Are there issues in the code because there are things you're not catching because you're not catching the really obvious things either? Right? That's sort of the concern I end up having. Because if you're missing these really obvious things, what are you not missing?
You won't dodge this! You won't dodge this!
I will say honestly though, this boss, one of the better designed ones because I can actually tell what's happening and react to what's happening. So, good on you for that one, I guess. But like, I can actually tell what this guy is doing. What did that train do to deserve that? Are you for real right now? Alright, now we're memeing. That abrupt cut is also not fantastic, because who was that guy? Why was he standing in the way? I don't know what's happening. Are we in some sort of negative universe? Or is it supposed to be fog? Okay. Wow, this is some fog. The city. Everyone be careful. Welcome to Quiet Corners. What's up with this place? It was a small city Black Cross bought out and turned into a company town. After 1 year, the city's entire population was worked to death. How is that legal? How does no one step in and, like, say anything about that? Folks, I don't know why Folks has an apostrophe. Is that Slenderman? say that the employment contracts were so airtight that the residents' ghosts still roam in eternal wage slavery. Okay, that's a funny bit of lore. Backroom storage? What is happening? I think we have company. We're almost there. Don't let up now. What do you mean we're almost there? Didn't it say we still have like 400 miles to go? How is that almost? That's not how numbers work.
Attention!
Also, ultimate. See, you're... Did I always have an ultimate? Why am I only getting this now? Also, my brain neglected to mention last time that while his design is very similar to Kamen Rider XL, the way he henshins is reminiscent of using the boost buckle from Geeks. So, I mean, again, design-wise, really cool. I just wish everything else was as functional, as cool as the design is, you know? If the design is like... The designs are pretty much, I'd say, a 10 out of 10. If only the rest of the game were up to that par, is the real shame. But ultimate unlocked. D-pad down, just D-pad down. You gonna let me know what that does, or is it just an ultimate? Like, again, basic video game design philosophy. Could you at least show me what it looks like? Little descriptor, anything? That would be fantastic. Even give me a little room to test it out for the first time? Hello? Could've sworn I hit you with a heavy and you just ignored it. Also, look, new enemies. How do they function? Who knows? Also, who cares? Because they go down just like everybody else. You spawned in doing an attack. Fair, you are not.
Time to swerve.
That combo apparently just works on everything, so I'll take it. Win. Look at how many enemies you spawned in. I don't... Like, is there any care put into how you spawn in the enemies, or do you just say, yeah, about 12 of these guys seems good? Because it's a lot. But also, like, enemies don't last, but then they also do outrageous damage, because where are my shields and HP already? And again, I think the highest I've ranked is barely a B rank? I still don't know how it's supposed to work. Oh, you know what?
Riser, kick!
Well, that's funny. I'll allow it. Riser kick and then everyone explodes? Okay. That's a pretty good ultimate. I'll allow it. Oh, blue was parry, was it? But can I really parry, like, in the middle of all this? Oh, are you a different... You are a different enemy than the other ones. Because that's a woman ghost. A little clarity would also be nice. Where? Who? What even stunned me? Alright, I can also just do that for free. What am I getting stunned by, though? I keep forgetting I have these skills as well. It's like, it's a lot. Again, it's weird that there's a lot of mechanics, but they're also all so shallow. Because I have these attacks. I can do things like that. That's really cool. How often can I do those when button mashing usually just gets me through? And doesn't get me that much in the way of style. Also, reaching enemies. Still a problem. And there goes the ranking. I see. I'm getting the hang of the countering, at least, where there's you know, dodges and breaks, and you apparently parry, but I didn't get it. That's the other thing, though. With all the enemies on the screen, it's like, when am I going to find time to wait for a parry? The dodges is one thing, because that's a bit more natural.
You won't dodge this.
There's the breaks with light attacks and the breaks with heavy attacks. But a parry really requires you, in this game, to just stop like that. And then, I guess, do the thrust. Especially because it's a specific parry. If it's a parry any attack, like a Royal Guard attack. Ow, 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 ow. Are you still going? Hello? Did I just get wombo comboed in the corner? I couldn't get out. Yeah, if it's a parry that can be used on anything, like Sekiro, Homura Hime, then it makes sense for it to be used in the middle of combat. But if it's parry the specific attack, I'm literally stuck. That's a ridiculous move. And it's one of those parry moves too, so I guess if you get caught by it, you're screwed. Like, I don't know what the parry frames are like, but they've got to be less generous than the dodge timing. This is the fact that I can actually just interrupt them by hitting them. Is that a parry? Like, what am I looking for? Yeah, because red was light attack, green was dodge, yellow was heavy attack, so blue has to be parry, but, like, I'm also not getting the parries. Also, my lock-on is broken again. Okay, so parry's not working, never mind. Because I'm pretty sure I saw him hit when my blade was up. Let me see if I can get it down to 1. Alright. That parry super didn't work. So, if those are supposed to be parryable, no they're not. Come on. Why'd you stop your attack? What happened? Alright, so no it is not. Unless I'm mistiming it, which is a different problem entirely, because what do you mean I mistimed it? Nope. I keep clicking that because I want to do dashes and stuff, or just like sprint. But that's not a thing in this game. Again, that doesn't need to be its own button. You have only so many buttons, and you can make them do different things. And you chose to bring up the move list? Like, I don't know what action games you've played, but you usually don't need those past, like, the first hour. And they definitely don't need to be brought up on command at any point in the game. Also, you have a pause menu, which would also be useful for keeping things like information. Any information, please. I didn't dodge that. I saw it too. I'm trying to turn my brain on. It's only functioning so hard.
You won't dodge this. No time to work.
Like, I don't know. This game would, I guess, benefit from a Royal Guard, but I don't know if that can be implemented. Maybe we can just describe this game as a fever dream, then you make a second Kijutsu Rider where it's actually Kijutsu Rider, and he wakes up and he's like, man, that was awful. Nothing felt right, and it was terrible. Now here's the real game. That's really the only way you can save this. Because if this is meant to be the legacy of Kijutsu Rider, it's gonna be a short-lived one. Ow. It said ow, and I still have my shields up. It didn't even hit me. Again, really weird choice. Not really a negative, it's just very odd to have a shield for a game like this. Especially a regenerating shield. It's like, then I just have infinite health functionally, right? And the only counter is that enemies deal stupid amounts of damage when I'm without shield. What am I looking at? Where are we? Oh my god, one of the back rooms. Okay. I suppose that was a given. What was that? Why did I do a special pose? It was very jarring, very spontaneous, and very unwelcome. Why? It wasn't even necessary. Well, at least the arrows show up telling me where to go. Oh look, new enemies, Slenderman. Now what do? How are you gonna kill me? Oh, you do freaky stuff. But once again, I just need to spam attacks and it's fine. Yep, just spin to win through attacks. Oh, I guess that's a dash move. I didn't know I had one of those. That wasn't in any tutorial or note. I can just hold that apparently. Huh. Wait. How was I doing it? Yeah, I just have bike mode for a little bit. But also doesn't seem to count as a heavy attack, because I was not interrupting things. Yeah, like it's not doing the break. Yeah, I'm hitting them with the heavy, and it's not heavying, so... Never mind, I guess. Just, nuke them. It is funny that it gathers them all up and then does an explosion so they can do their whole explosive, like, fall down. That's inspired. I do like that. Would be nice if there was a bit more oomph to those explosions and the enemies falling over. There's not even a sound for the enemies falling over. I hate this area. It burns my eyes. I want out. Oh, we cannot be here for this long, please. This isn't even like a game design criticism. This is just, I hate this. This hurts my eyes. As a human being, please do not. Not even as like a guy who enjoys games, just as a human being, as a fellow theoretical human being. I don't know if the dev is human or not. It could not be. But yeah, no. It hurts. Okay, wait, what are you doing though? Like, is that parryable or not? I don't know. It's not dodge, because dodge is blue. Let's see if I can... Okay, so that was not doing any parry. I had to release that to actually knock back. But like... Can I go back to the back rooms? I hate it's so bright and painful. This, again, is one of those things where, did you look at this? Did you play this? Did you see how this would affect people? Because this is wholly unpleasant. The bright white lights everywhere, you gotta tone it down. It cannot be this bright. Like, this is an assault on the eyes. This is unpleasant. You can't make it this pure, bright, brilliant white. You gotta mute it a little bit. I would like to move, but I'm being body blocked by all the ghosts and dying. The body blocking ghosts are the worst. Because just like, oh, all your movement? No. And it's not like I can actually find the summoners in all of this. because A, they run away like crazy. B, there's so many enemies, and the lock-on doesn't function properly enough for me to actually target an enemy. I was apparently mid-dodge when I got stunned, and the dodge continued to break the attack. So that works. Oh my god, get out of the way! The fact that they can't even be knocked away, you're just stuck being body blocked by them. That's... Where did you come up with this idea? Because no one ever came up with it before for probably a real good reason. Not to mention, they're fully transparent. Not fully. They're transparent, and in this area where it's blinding white, you can't see them that well. So it's like you're being body blocked by literal ghosts. I can't move. It's you, right? Did I get them all? Am I done being body blocked? God. Who's shooting? Is it over yet? Oh, finally. What is this doing here? Did you leave an asset through the wall? What happened?
You won't dodge this. No time to swerve.
Because it's so bright, I also can't see, like, green attack indicators. So I'm also just taking those hits now. Well, I can see that one because that one's big, but the small claw attacks that require dodging. Like, it's really difficult to see them. This is awful for visibility. You really need to spend more time stopping and thinking, should I? Because that's a lot. You need way more consideration because you have so little of it in a lot of this game design. Right, there's more you should do and less you need to be doing as well. Nope. I don't know if I'm actually doing any other combos aside from the heavy, light. Oh, I always feel like I'm in a weird cinematic thing because it's when I'm doing a break, but no, it's just the camera isn't locked on anymore, so I can't actually see what's going on. The fact that the camera breaks this easily, I know lock-on is difficult, but I've never seen one this bad. It's actually kind of impressive. Alright, we made it through the back rooms. That was terrible. Endless Grudge Ondia. That's another boss really quickly, actually. I feel like the first 3 bosses were really far apart. But I've gone through 3 bosses now? 2 bosses? I can't even remember. At least 2 bosses now. Pretty rapid succession. Why does everyone do the same moveset? They do the blow away and then send out a barrage of the same moves. They don't. Oh, here we go again. Jump the lasers. That counts as a light attack? The extended dash?
Stop it now.
Okay, I interrupted you and yet you still pushed me away? Is that how that works?
You won't dodge this. No stopping now. No stopping now.
Like, how am I supposed to interrupt your attack when you're literally pushing me away while I'm trying to hit you? This wind is one of the worst decisions you can make. Huh? I feel like I got hit only 3 times and I lost all my health. What happened? Also, there's still no sound when I'm getting hit. I don't expect that to change, but I gotta point it out again because there was no sound when I got hit. So it's not like I can tell I'm getting hit. Do I have to go through this cutscene every single time? I have to win then, because no. Like, she doesn't even make a sound when she attacks. How do you not program in, alongside attack cues, sound cues? Like, those should all play as a single action.
You won't dodge this.
You managed to do it with the player character, at least. I can't hit you if you're pushing me away, which is incredibly unfair.
All cylinders, all out. Cylinders, all out.
No, you don't. Oh, apparently you do. I guess I have to parry that?
Feel out.
I guess I stopped the attack. I don't know what happened. I'm still in the air, apparently. Oh, ran into that one. I don't know how I was supposed to interrupt that when she was under the ground. I wasn't even close enough for that because he pushed me away. Why did that do like half my health bar? Also, why did my shields come back? I was not taking hits for a good couple seconds. I would know because I would have died earlier. Like, this boss. The last boss was pretty good. I liked that one. It felt playable. This one's kind of terrible. It's amazing how the pendulum swings and then snaps right off. I can't even interrupt my attacks with a dodge. That's crazy.
All cylinders, all out.
How did I lose like all of my health already? What hits did I take? I thought I was countering everything. What hits did I take? What? Huh? No, seriously, how do you overlook that? There's no sound when you're getting hit. How do you overlook that? And see, this is me getting salty and mad because things are broken beyond belief. This is where I start getting mean. Because did you not play this in the slightest to test it yourself? Do you not get a feel for what you're making? Do you not taste your own dish when you cook? Do you not know what you're giving people? Because it should never have reached release without having any hit sounds. You're giving me no information to work with. Despite being like, oh yeah, you're losing health. Am I? I didn't know. Glad you worked hard on this model, though. I wish it weren't an enemy that was good to fight. And again, that's one of the things where it's like, division of effort. More effort was put into visuals than actual, like, practical design. Which is a huge no-no.
Stop it now.
If you're gonna make a game, make a game. If you're gonna make animations, make animations. But, like, you gotta do it to its fullest extent. Or at least to the basest extent. That ate my shield in entirety. Like, what is happening? I can't get close. She does that, and I'm not able to parry it because of timing. I did not want to do the rider kick. I wanted to do the dodge, which apparently does not count as a rider or as a dodge, by the way. So like if I'm trying to dodge and I end up getting the stupid extension instead, I don't get rewarded for that because it's assigned to the same button, which is not how you want to design things. Like, again, when I do this, and that doesn't count as a heavy, despite the fact that I use the heavy button to activate it, that's a problem. Like, did you just take away my shield in one hit and then kill me with the second? Also, where did all this moveset come from? Because it wasn't here before. And, like, now is where I'm like, how much more did you make without actually completing the game? Why did me hitting the stick, not even clicking it, hitting the stick, thinking I was already in game, how did that bring up the menu? Oh, this music is like not the least bit exciting for this fight. I don't feel like I'm fighting a boss. I feel like I'm in Lavender Town, which is not really a big boss fight feeling. Alright, don't swing. I'm waiting for the attack so I can dodge it. And there. What? Why did it not do it? Why would you stop my combo? Why would you stop my combo? And then you take away my shield with an instant attack. Like, what do you mean?
You won't dodge this.
Like, I don't feel like that was reactable. Especially not with the long animations with heavies. I wasn't allowed to interrupt my attack to dodge, because why would you want to be able to dodge cancel in a game like this? That took away half my health in one burst. Are you kidding me? Hitboxes? Hello? 2 of those definitely didn't hit me. You pushed me away from your own attack. What do you mean? What is happening? That attack is the worst. It has no build-up. She just does it. And again, am I supposed to parry it? Because at no point have I actually been able to hit the parry button when I see that attack. There is 0 wind-up. By the time I can see it, I'm still mid of another attack. Because I'm trying to kill her. Like, at what point am I supposed to expect she's gonna do it? There's no lead up to it. There's no warning indicator until too late either.